Not everybody's gonna like this one, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I heard a video the other day. It was a YouTube video, and they were talking about something, and they were saying how they wanted their channel to be a safe space. A safe space. And then they went on to, you know, say all the things that you say to give tribute to all the protected individuals. And, you know, that's okay. I don't mind that, but I started looking at it, the idea of a safe space, right? Intellectually. Schools and things like that, being a safe space, or the workplace being a safe space. And then I thought about it. I was like, man, I'm not so sure how good of an idea the safe space thing is. I'm not sure it's a good idea at all. And I'll tell you why. Not that I want to discriminate against people or be mean to people. Nobody should be doing that, not whatsoever. Like, to anybody across the board, not just protected individuals, but to anybody. Shouldn't discriminate in that way, guys. But think about it this way. If you don't have resistance in life, how are you going to grow? So if you grow, and if you're in a place where everybody validates all the things that you say, or that you think rather, and just kind of goes along with it, then how are you going to know anything about yourself even? I mean, growth comes from resistance. You can talk to bodybuilders, they'll tell you this. You got to have resistance, you got to have tension. You know, those are some main ingredients of growth. And once you do that, you know, you're willing to break yourself down a little bit so you can build yourself back up, and this becomes a source of actual real strength, real usable strength in the real world. And that's how it works. Or like in martial arts, for example, there's something called pressure testing. Pressure test your system. You pressure test techniques. There's a lot of people that have techniques, right? They look cool when they're choreographed, or they, you know what I mean? They look cool on screen, or maybe they just sound good on paper, but you don't know if they're actually going to be beneficial in the real world when the time comes, when the rubber meets the road, and you know, it's real. And the only way to know is to put it into a high intensity sparring session and mix it in and see if it's something that's useful or not. Right? Because it may be total garbage. It could get you really hurt if you try to rely on it, right? You try to lean on it, and then the right time or the wrong time, when you actually need it, this thing that you've been practicing, this thing you've been working on, turns out it collapses under pressure. So I'm not so sure safe spaces are a good idea intellectually, right? Because, you know, like I said, I'm not saying that anybody should be discriminated against anybody or anything, be mean to people. You know, that's a universal thing. That's a truth for everybody, right? Like, you're kind of discriminating in your safe space as to who can actually even be in there. Well, it's these protected class of people. Well, what about the other people that aren't listed in your protected class? Are they in a safe space too? What if they come in and they say something they believe and you disagree with that? You kick them out. Is it safe? How safe is that? It's not too safe for that person. So it's kind of discriminatory anyway, right off the bat. So I was just thinking that, man. I was like, man, if you don't have resistance, how are you going to grow? And if you're living in a safe space, or, you know, you go to school, it's a safe space. You go to work, it's a safe space. You go to the internet and you only hang out in safe spaces. Everybody's validating everybody else. Everybody's running around with a bunch of ideas. They've never tested them. You know? I don't care if you believe something. If you believe something's different than me, or you live a lifestyle that's different than me, I don't care. It doesn't hurt me. I'm not here to hurt you. We should be able to disagree, though. I mean, my goodness, if we don't have a conversation about it, how am I going to understand where you're even coming from? And if I'm willing to listen to you and understand where you're coming from, then you should be willing to listen to me and understand where I'm coming from, and suspend the offendedness, right? And be offended at everything. Because otherwise, we're just going to be pitted against each other. Because there's so much polarization in the news and in social media and stuff like that. You realize they're getting everybody to hate each other, right? You realize there's like a whole agenda behind that. And it's for a reason. It's like a divide and conquer type of thing that's going on every day out here, right? And this is part of it. I say, no, this is a safe space. Like, this is to include people. It's inclusive. No, it's not. It's not inclusive to the people that disagree, that might say something that you don't consider to be safe because it might offend somebody, right? You got to make people walk on eggshells in those places. Well, it's not comfortable for that person, and it's not safe for that person. So you're kind of discriminating against somebody no matter what you do. Here's the truth. You can't make everybody happy. My channel, this channel, is not going to make everybody happy, and we're not always going to agree. I appreciate you watching, and I hope you do. And I would love to hear what you say, even if you disagree, and we can have a respectful discourse in the comment section. I have no problem with that. If you're disrespectful, you know, I may delete the comment if I don't think that it's something. If you're coming in here cussing and yelling and saying all kinds of lewd things. But if you just disagree with me, I'm not going to delete comments because people disagree. I like that. I like the discourse. And other people can then come and read those comments, and they can come in and disagree with you. And then we can see where it goes, but we can pressure test these ideas. That's the whole point. Really, it's kind of the point of this channel. We're going to talk about things, and then we can discuss them after. I can always go back after, as soon as I get the idea, or as soon as I get to the point where I can live stream. We may be able to live stream and go more into depth on the subjects that we talk about, you know, because you can't say but so much in 5-10 minutes, right? And there's a lot you'll miss. The last video I did on the Gen Z stare really was trying to, you know, figure out where people are coming from on all different sides in this thing, because I've seen people be very inflationary or inflammatory on that subject on both sides, right? And I don't want to come from a place like that, because I want to understand where everybody's coming from. And also I realized that this is another wedge that's being divided into people on purpose, right? So people are being divided by, you know, they were divided by race, and then it was sex, and then it's age now. I mean, what is it? It's going to be like what you decide to eat, like whether you like pizza or Chinese food, whatever, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, well, we don't let people who that eat Wendy's, we don't let them into our group because that offends the people that work at McDonald's, right? Come on, guys. You can't grow in a safe space. Like, I'm gonna go and say that. You don't even get much success from safety. You have to take risk in life. I'm not saying take stupid risks, but it's like, dude, you've got to take risk in business. You got to take risks to go and start a job, even, because, you know, it may not work out, but it might work out, and you'll never know until you go and find out, right? So you can't just stay in safety all the time. Anyway, so the whole idea intellectually of a safe space, I'm not talking about a sanctuary where people can go and be protected from actual predators. I'm talking about, you know, intellectual places where people don't disagree with you, where you're validated. That's not always healthy. You might be right. I mean, it's fine. You can believe whatever you believe, but like, if you want to stand on it, you should be able to do that in circumstances where people disagree with you, respectfully. Anyway, that's what I have to say about safe spaces. It's kind of what I was thinking about it when I saw that. When I heard that in that channel, I was like, man, you're tiptoeing and you're walking on eggshells. You're making yourself uncomfortable to make sure that these people, specific people, by the way, are comfortable. But, like, you never mentioned me, you never mentioned other, you know what I mean, other groups or whatever. It's just like certain groups, and then everything else is really discriminated against. It's kind of weird, right? It's kind of weird. It's like its own form of discrimination. So anyway, yeah, let me know what you think about that. I'm sure somebody's going to disagree. That's okay, because here, I don't care about that. It's a safe space to disagree here on Real Thoughts Project, right? Because honestly, I want to create a place where we can disagree. We don't have to agree on everything. You can agree, though. That's fine, too. Let me know in the comments, guys. The video's going on too long. We'll revisit this later if we have to. I'm going to end it right there. I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out.